Hi folks, welcome to the Inside Track Aintree special. We've got the Grand National to look forward to. We've got another 20 races on the card over the next 3 days. Jim Delahunt here with me as usual to go through it. Jim, no rain forecast for definite now. The sun's shining down in Liverpool. I mean, how much of a battle is this going to be to keep it good ground over the next 3 days?
Yeah, those groundsmen down at Aintree are going to have to do a really fantastic job just to keep that ground like everybody wants it. I mean, I know a lot of trainers would want the word soft in the ground description. There's a chance it might be to start with, but with this drying weather, it's going to be very, very difficult. There's going to be lots of water poured on the track, and rightly so. But we're not going to get any rain. We know that for a fact now. So the watering is justified. It'll probably go off good to soft to start with. It's pretty certain to be good come Grand National time on Saturday afternoon. But the ground staff all around the country at this time of year, the tracks which do have watering systems, they really have to utilise them. The tracks which don't, they really struggle for fields. You can see that this week with some of the tracks that don't have watering systems away out in the country. They're really struggling for fields. But Aintree will be fine because all those guys and gals down there will do a tremendous job.
Yeah, well, we'll just get stuck right in it. We start off tomorrow with the Manifesto Novices Chase over 2 mile free. Have you had a look at this one? What do you fancy in it?
Yeah, I mean, an old favourite of mine and a horse we've tipped up a couple of times on the programme, Robert, is the Kaluki Kid, but he's going really, really up in grade here into a grade one for Nicky Richards and Danny McMenamin. I hope he runs well. I'd love to see him pick up a prize. I just can't see him winning in this company at this stage, although I think he's a very good horse in the making. I suspect the Irish could go through the card on Thursday. Maybe not Friday and Saturday, but certainly Thursday. They look very good in all seven races. And I suspect that Willie Mullins is going to strike first here with Impair a Pass. Paul Townend on, he obviously overrules JJ Slevin when it comes to the Mullins horses that run in the Isaac Swade and Simon Munir colours, the double green. He's on Impair a Pass. They could have run Dancing City, of course. They're in against a good horse of Gordon Elliott's, which I know you like, Croke Park, but I think this is Imperi Pass race to lose. What do you think?
Yeah, I just think Croke Park, just in that form behind Ballyburn at the Dublin Racing Festival. Obviously, Ballyburn, things didn't go well for him at Cheltenham. He's jumping fell to pieces. But
Yeah.
Croke Park beat Imperi Pass that day. I mean, he's got two grade ones in his record this year. It's easy enough to crib those grade ones, saying they were a wee bit below standard. But I think he's got the form for the race. He's been kept fresh for it. Didn't go to Cheltenham. Front runner, I think I can see him getting out over 2 mile free. I think that'd be an ideal test for him. So at 4 to 1, I think Croke Park's a decent bet.
Okay, well, we're having two stabs at that one, but I think we're coming together for the first of several times in this programme in the next race because it's the Boodles anniversary 4-year-old hurdle. And jumping from a handicap to a grade one is Joseph O'Brien's Put Your Hands Together. I can't see it getting beat, can you?
No, he was a very, very impressive winner at the Fred Winter at the festival, and I just don't see what beats him in this race. He just looks a level above, doesn't he? He's short enough for it, and I think he's 13 to 8, but
Yeah.
he just looks a class angle in it. I mean, you could maybe say live Conti on the visuals from Weatherby. What did he beat that day? You've got the one filibustering that won well at Kelso a few weeks ago. Maybe each way alternatives there, but I think Put Your Hands Together is rock solid.
Yeah, and of course, the reason we're going for that one is Lulamba doesn't run. He runs on Saturday. We'll get to that shortly. But the bowl chase over 3 miles and a furlong, our old favourite Ahoy Senor is in there again for Lucinda Russell. But I think further down the card, we're diverging here, Robert. I'm going for Spillans Tower, a horse I've really liked all through last season, all through this season, although he hasn't been quite as successful. But we know he was kept away from Cheltenham to come here and possibly go to Punchestown as well. Mark Walsh in the saddle in the JP McManus colours. I think Spillans Tower, only 7 on the upgrade. I think he could have his day literally in the sun tomorrow.
Yeah, I think you look at that John Durkin form, fact to file, what he's come out and done since, only beat half a length. The one thing that worries me is when this horse came over to Kempton for the King George, he completely blew out and he said he didn't like the travelling and didn't like being away from home. And they've really kind of treated him really carefully since then. I just wonder if Aintree might blow him up a wee bit. I think there's enough of a negative there for me to be against him. Grey Dawning, I was at Kelso the day he won in the Premier Chase and I thought he was hugely impressive. He pinged every fence. I mean, he was taking lengths out of Barocco every time he jumped. I think he's probably the one to beat. Gaelic Warrior stepping up to 3 miles
Yeah,
again. I
yeah.
think adds an interesting element to it. I mean, he's only raced over 3 miles once, and that was at Punchestown. He won a graded hurdle. Is it a fat last roll of the dice for Willie Mullins because the horse is disappointed? Or have they been getting his trip wrong? Is 3 miles what he wants? So that adds a sort of fascinating element to it. And then, as you say, our old pal Ahoy, what did we do with him, Jim? Well, we made the case for him at Haydock. He bombed out. We made the case
Yeah,
for him at Windsor. We were scraping omelettes off our face. All the boxes are ticked for him again, but he would need to get to a huge price for me to back him. I wouldn't want to do that to Lucinda and Scoo because every time we
I
back him, he
know.
bombs out. Do you think he's got any sort of chance, or have we just put a line through him now?
Well, I'm going to put a line through him for betting purposes, but I think he's got a chance. I mean, if he runs to his best form, he loves Aintree, he'll love the ground. If he runs to his best form, everything's fine with him, then I think he'll be there or thereabouts in the first four. That's as far as I would go here because I think this is between the big two. You've mentioned Grey Dawning, I've mentioned Stollan's Tower. What price will Iroko be for the Grand National if Grey Dawning wins by 20 lengths? We'll find that out tomorrow. But it's a fascinating race. We're split on that one. We get to the Aintree hurdle, the grade one over 2.5 miles. Looks a two-horse race. I wouldn't be having a bet, but I suspect Constitution Hill might lose out again, this time to Lossiemouth.
Are you just worried that he's now, he's fallen once. He could have easily fallen at Cheltenham the time before. Is he just too careless at these hurdles now, or what's kind of gone wrong for him?
I'll be brutally honest, Robert. I think the Constitution Hill myth has gone, absolutely gone. I think it was a very, very top class horse in his day. He's still a very good horse and fully merits running in these grade ones. He might even win tomorrow, but I think that myth about him being unbeatable is gone. And I think Lossiemouth getting £7 is going to not only give him a race, but might possibly win, especially over 2.5 miles. But we'll see.
Yeah, it's not a race you have to have a bet in, is it? It's just
No.
it's a fascinating contest you can just stand and watch and enjoy. But I'm the same as you. I just don't think you can trust Constitution Hill now. We know those jumping errors that have started to creep in. But toss him a coin job for me. If he stands up, there's every chance he wins. But
Yeah.
I'll enjoy watching it.
Yeah, me too. I wouldn't be having a bet either, but I just suspect that Lossiemouth might beat Constitution Hill. The Fox Hunters, now fascinating in the sense that it's our first look at the Grand National fences, isn't it? But we're talking amateur jockeys, in some cases top class amateur jockeys. So let's not have a downer on the jockeys, but the horses are obviously not top class, but some of them used to be, and one or two of them are up and coming. So we've obviously got Will It Go Ahead for Gordon Elliott. That ran a fantastic race in the. They don't call it the Fox Hunters at Cheltenham anymore, but they still call it the Fox Hunters at Aintree. Ran a very good race there. We've got My Drogo, Grade 1 race, Grade 1 winner in his time. And the horse I like here is Lifetime Ambition, coming over from Ireland. It's a 10-year-old now, has Grade 1 form if you want to go back enough. Finished fourth in the Topham Chase, which is run on Friday here over the Grand National Fences. That was in 2022. He was knocked out of the race by a loose horse in the Grand National won by Corach Rambler. So he's been here a couple of times. He's jumped round at least once and might have jumped round a second time. He's got Rob James in the saddle, who is one of the wiliest amateurs in the British Isles. He's coming over to ride that. Lifetime Ambition is going to be the one for me. I'm hoping for an each way price. Which way are you coming down?
The top of the market looks to be right here. I mean, Will It Go Ahead looks like it's going to go off favourite.
Yeah,
Only 7-year-old, was pretty eye-catching at Cheltenham. Now, this horse is bred to be more of a 2 miler than the 3 miles that it's been running over in point
yeah,
to points and hunter chases and at Cheltenham. So I think the step back and trip to 2 mile 5 might be the making of him. So he's definitely a worthy favourite. My Drogo's £3 clear in official ratings. Will Biddick, fantastic amateur. Good ground will be ideal.
yeah.
He was winning a grade one 4 years ago at this meeting, so he's got the class. The other one I thought is worth a look for each way purposes is Percussion, who's been round these national fences several times. I think
Yeah.
he placed 4 out of 5 over the national fences. So I think Percussion is an each way bet, but for win purposes, my Drogo, Lifetime Ambition, Will It Go Ahead? I'd be surprised if it's not one of those three.
Yeah, I think I would be as well. So we'll see how the first spin over the Grand National fences goes at 4:05 on Thursday. Now, the 4:40 is going to be my nap selection. I think you might be going along with me on this one. The Folks Tiara for Henry de Bromhead, Rachel Blackmore in the saddle. This one's been put away since running a good race on Boxing Day. Loves the good ground. Henry de Bromhead has won 2 of the last 5 of the runnings of this Red Rum Chase. That was 2019, 2023, if I remember from what I wrote this morning. And the Folks Tiara, I think, will be nicely teed up. I think Rachel is back riding it pretty much close to her best after what we have to be honest and say was a little bit of a dodgy spell, I thought. But she's back riding well. She's riding winners, and I think the Folks Tiara is the one to be on tomorrow. Now, I managed to bang in 3 winning naps in a row last week. They've been hopeless this week, so I'm hoping that the Folks Tiara can maybe get us off the mark. So the Folks Tiara is going to be the nap selection tomorrow.
Well, I'm with you on the Folks Tiara for the same reason. The Bromhead loves the race. I think it was Moon over Germany and
Yeah,
Dancing on My Own were the two that won
that
it.
was a two. Yep, yep,
Yeah. So, folks, yeah, I'm definitely with you on that. The other one is for Paul Nicholls, Sans Brut, last year's winner. Under Bryony Frost, went out in front,
yep.
never got caught, jumped perfectly, got hiked up a fair bit in the handicap, but they've run him this year, and lo and behold, he's now back to exactly the same mark, 130. Harry Cobden takes over from Bryony Frost, a great jockey from the front. I suspect he'll do exactly the same as he did last year. Go out in front and see if they can catch him. Primoz is a short price, Jim. Can you see why, or is his form not really back up why he's 11 to 2?
No, I can see why he's 11 to 2 because I think he was not unlucky, unfortunate at Cheltenham. So I'd go as far as to say that. So, and of course, Lucinda and Skew have proved their prowess with handicappers. Patrick Wodge in the saddle. So, yeah, I can see why Primoz is so short, but I'm not tempted by him on this occasion. I'm very much with Rachel and Henry with the Folks Tiara.
Yeah. And then to conclude tomorrow, we've got the Mayor's Bumper over 2 miles. Have you had a look at that? I mean, I see Billy Lee is over riding
Yeah.
again after winning at Cheltenham on Seal Lynn. The form of that race has worked out really well. There's been quite a lot of winners come out of it. Should we be looking any further than that, or is that the one?
I think that's the one. There are quite a few with winning form, as we can all see with our own eyes in this race. But Seal Lynn with Billy Lee, absolute crack flat jockey riding in a bumper. And he's only riding in a bumper because of this mare. So Seal Lynn will be the one for me. But as you say, I don't think we're going to get a fantastic price. And I just hope we're ahead come that bumper.
And then we move on to Friday, where we kick off at the Mile Day, the first race. We've got Colwell Potter, who surprised everybody by bouncing back to form, pillar to post job at Cheltenham. We've got Handstands, who's been kept fresh for the race, and we've got Stella Story in there as well. Which one do you fancy in this one?
I do like handstands for Ben Pauling, very much like that one. I think that will run a really good race for Ben Jones. Caldwell Potter, I remain to be convinced, but of course it did win that race at Cheltenham, so we have to give it due respect. But what I can't understand is the price about Jordans for Joseph O'Brien. I think he could have a very good meeting indeed. We're hoping, both of us, that he's already got a winner in the bag on Thursday. I think he could win this opener here with Jordans. JJ Slevin's going to be in the saddle. Now, I had a look this morning, it's 20 to 1. I don't think that'll be anywhere near that price on Friday. I think that'll be down sort of 8, 10 to 1. Admittedly beaten in a handicap last time, but he was trying to give £9 to Jaguar at Cheltenham, and he wasn't disgraced at all. He's already been second in a Grade 1 in Ireland this season to Imperi Pass. I think that's top class form. And I think going back into Grade 1 company, and crucially, Robert stepped up to 3 miles and a furlong for the first time. I think Jordan's could really come into his own. I'm hoping he's a big price, but I suspect people will latch on.
Yeah, I think Stellar Story just second in the Brown Advisory last month. I just think he looks like a horse that's just getting ready to put it all together. A bit like your Marine Nationale in the champion
Yeah.
chase. He's just been tipping away, slowly improving. I think Stellar Story could just, if everything comes together, his jumping's got better with the more runs he's had. I just think Stellar Story for Gordon Elliott could just flourish in this kind of environment tomorrow and Friday, sorry. And
Yeah,
then
well,
we
there we
move
are. We'll
on.
put two up there for the Grade 1 novice chase to get us started. Then a very competitive handicap hurdle over 2.5 miles. I think we might agree on this one.
Well, I've kind of nicked your one from the Imperial Cup, Tin Tin Tin, who ran on very, very well for the back. Was
Yeah,
only beat about a length and a half or something.
yeah.
I think he's bred to step up and tip. I think the 2.5 miles might be the making of him. Only went up a pound for Sandown, and as you pointed out a couple of weeks ago, the Fergal O'Brien stable's flying, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I've just seen he said a winner today as well. We're recording this Wednesday afternoon. He said a winner this afternoon as well. Seems to have had a winner every day since goodness knows when. Tin Tin Tin, I did think he'd won a big race at Sandown last time. Ran a really good race to a closing fourth. He has been up at 2.5 miles at Ascot, didn't seem to stay, but that was a funny race, and I really did forgive him to back him last time at Sandown. I think the horse is on the upgrade. He's only 6. He's nicely handicapped. Johnny Burke, another jockey riding out of his skin at the moment. He'll do for me. And Tin Tin Tin. I haven't studied the prices for this one yet, Robert, but I'm hoping he's a reasonable price to get as a winner in the second race on Friday.
Well, Gordon Elliott had to wait to the very last race at Cheltenham to get a winner. Now we think he's going to get some winners before that stage of the game at Aintree. In the top novices hurdle, Romeo Coolio is going to be a
Yeah.
short price favourite. Third in the Supreme, he just looks a level above these, doesn't he?
Well, he does on form, he really does, and I can't argue with that. But I am going to put one up against them, and you would be surprised to hear it's another Fergal O'Brien one. It's Tripoli Flyer, which should have run in the Supreme Novices Hurdle, was declared on the day and was taken out on the day due to the veterinary report said it was a temperature. So he was taken out for that reason. They immediately said he was going to come on to Liverpool for this Grade One, 2 miles and a half of furlong. I think he's a horse on the upgrade. He's a horse which has impressed me visually. On form, he's got a bit to find with Romeo Coolio. I can't argue with that, but I think Tripoli Flyer, and he's not a big price, by the way. There's been plenty of money for him already. I think Tripoli Flyer might cause what you would call a minor surprise. He's already won a Kempton Grade 2, up to Grade 1 here. And remember, he won at Musselburgh as well. So Tripoli Flyer for me on the flat track at Liverpool.
Yeah, I thought Diva Luna getting £7 for the mayor's allowance
Yeah,
was interesting for a place angle or an each way angle, but I can't see past Romeo Coolio, I'll have to admit.
fair enough. Fair enough. We can't see past John Bond, can we? In the next race?
Can you forgive him
Difficult.
after that
I
display?
think I think well, I'm guilty of being against him every time, but I can't see him getting beaten this time.
No, I think you're right. He's 3 out of 3 at Aintree as well, so
Yeah,
maybe he just doesn't like Cheltenham.
but quite possibly. Although didn't he run on well to be second?
Well, it actually was a huge performance to finish
Yeah,
second,
yeah.
considering everything that went wrong and where he was. But no, I'd probably agree with you, but there wouldn't be a bet for me. I certainly wouldn't be risking any money on him at odds on.
No, definitely not. But I think we watched John Bond pick up a Grade One. It looks like the definition of a soft Grade One, and John Bond and Nico will probably collect that.
Then we're back over the Grand National fences for the Topham. It's always a fantastic race to watch. Have you picked anything out in this one?
Yeah, at the moment, the one I'm siding with, Robert, is Ben Pauling's horse. I've given him a mention earlier without tipping his horse, but I think Bad, which has won a couple of races at Kempton, hardly decent preparation for going over the fences at Aintree, but he's only a 6-year-old. I know Ben seems to think that he's maybe not shown his best so far, despite the fact that he's got 2 wins on the board. And again, I think this is the horse, just looking at him and having another look at his races this morning. I think he's a horse that will jump round. I think he's a horse that it'll grab his interest jumping these fences. I know they're not huge anymore, but I think he'll enjoy going round there. And reasonably handicapped as well. I think he'll carry 10 stone 10 with the top weight on 12 stone. I think Bad could give us a run for the money. What about yourself?
I've managed to narrow it down to just the three, which one for Gavin Cromwell, the king of PRS, who's nice form at Leopardstown with a
Yep.
horse. I'm about to butcher his name, called Anpian Derg. I think that might be right. He's from a family of 2.5 mile horses, so should get the trip, no bother. The other one's Ginny's Destiny, who is a prominent racer, dropped to just a pound higher than when winning the Time for novice last year at Cheltenham. And the last one is Glenn Gooley, who was out in front of the Grand National last year, running really, really well for about 3 miles and just popped. I think stepping back in trip might be the key to him.
The other one I'll give a mention to here, and it's 100 to 1, so there's no way I'm tipping it. But Dreal Deal is an interesting horse because this is a horse back in the day, must have landed about 10 gambles in various races. He's now a 10-year-old, going over the Grand National fences for John McConnell. So just keep an eye on that. And if it pops up 100 to 1, you heard it here first, but I didn't back it. So there we are. We're moving on to the Sefton Novices Hurdle, the Grade 1 over 3 miles and half a furlong. And interestingly here, Lucinda Russell runs 2 Jupiter de Mott and King of Answers, but they're both huge prices, Robert.
Yeah, well, she's got some record in the race, but it might be another Northern one if it
Fantastic.
wins it. We spoke about Battleborn Lad before he won at Haydock, and he came out and absolutely bolted up that day. And we said straight after, he looks a perfect horse for the Sefton. So I don't see any need to deviate from that. His form got franked again with Dingo, who beat it Hexham, coming out and finishing fairly close in the Albert Battle. I think he was fifth in the end after a mistake at the last, but he looked like he was going to be in certainly in the places. He just looks like the kind of front running bruiser that wins this race.
I think he's got a great chance, Battleborn lad. Absolutely no doubt about that. I was going to mention him, trained by Mark Wolford, Jamie Hamilton. They seem to be in form as well. I think the mare might run well here for Gordon Elliott. You've already said he's expected to have a better entry than he had Cheltenham. Familiar Dreams, without going mad on it, I think getting the £7, Familiar Dreams might be a mare which gives them all a run for their money here. So that would be my advanced selection for the Sefton. And then, of course, we finish off with the race which used to be the last race on Grand National Day. It's the Conditional Jockeys Amateur Riders Handicap Hurdle. It's now the last race on the Friday. And one I'm very, very keen on here, Robert, I have to say, is Celtic Dino for Sam Thomas. And crucially for Dylan Johnson. Now, the reason I say crucially is that this horse has been running in very good grade novice hurdles. And I think backing a handicap off an opening mark of 132, I thought that was good enough. But remember, Dylan, who has not been able to claim on his last couple of rides on this horse, gets his £3. And given that he's effectively a fully fledged jockey in my book, that brings him down to 129. And I think Celtic Dino off 129, flat track, I think he's got a really good chance. Now, the little proviso here is that he did run in a grade one here at Aintree on Boxing Day, could only finish fourth. But try and have a look back at that race and you won't see a thing because it was running the fog. And it's very difficult to see anything that happened in that race. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and hopefully that he will be good enough on the track at Aintree to operate once again. And he's also been third to Tripoli Flyer as well, so that's good form. So I think Celtic Dino off 132, Dylan's £3 claim, making it 129. I think that's got a great chance in the finale on Friday.
Yeah, I fancy one for Lucinda Russell in this one. I was at Kelso for More Battle Day and actually watched it
Yep.
from up high on the stand roof and couldn't believe old Gregorian coming from miles back to finish third. He's only went up £2 for that. And I think going back to better ground will help him. And Conor McCann's a jockey I really, really like. He'll claim £7 off him. He's also got a bit of form with Doyen Dubar, who's turned into a pretty smart chaser. He beat him at Kelso over hurdles. He's now rated in the 130s. So I think off 1, 2, 3, there's plenty of juice in his mark with Conor McCann taking another seven off.
Yeah, I think we'll get two good ones running for us there, which hopefully means that coming into Saturday, Robert, we're quids in and ahead trying to solve the Grand National. So where are we going to start?
Well, are we going to go for the Grand National first or are we going to start at the start of the card?
Let's start at the start of the card.
Right. Well, we're flying a little bit blind because we don't know what the decks are at the moment. But the 3 mile handicap hurdle that kicks us off, I think there's a fascinating contender in here if he's declared, which is Sounds Russian for Ruth Jefferson. Now, this was a top class staying chaser. He's a rating of 161 over fences. He was mixing it with Noble Yates and Ahoy Senior and, running these grade ones and grade twos. He was off injured for a year and they brought him back in the Rendlesham and ran him out the back of the field, basically. He was never really put in the race. They just got him back in the race course, let him enjoy himself, let him tip away. Now, he could get back in here off a mark of 145, which is £16 lower than his chase mark. So, the Jeffersons, fantastic record at this, meeting. Old Malcolm used to mop up races here. I
He
just think
did.
if they go down this route, he's also entered in a chase later on in the card. If they declare him for this 3 mile handicap hurdle of £16 lower, I'd like to think he could have a right big chance.
Yeah, and just to emphasise, we don't have final declarations for Saturday as we speak, Robert. So we will watch out for that. And it's the same for me. I'm waiting to see if Navajo Indy is declared in this race because going up to 3 miles, I think this horse would have a real good chance. I think he's looked like a stare all season, and I'd love to see him get the chance to go 3 miles on a flat track. So tentative selection early doors in that one. We have a grade one novices hurdle over 2.5 miles at 155 after that. And this seems to be a penalty kick for Lulamba.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Nicky Henderson has went this route rather than sticking to the juvenile route, getting £10, I don't think anything's good enough to give this horse £10 and beat it, do you?
No, I really don't. So I'm not even going to suggest anything to beat it because under the conditions of the race, getting that weight for age allowance, I think Lulamba barring accidents, penalty kick. So moving swiftly on to the freebooter handicap chase over 3 miles and a furlongs at 2:30 as we edge ever closer towards the Grand National. And of course, we wait to see if Myertown runs in this race, up £15 in the handicap.
Yeah, but it's £15 enough to stop him.
Maybe
I,
not.
yeah, I saw William Hill did a feature with Lucinda Russell, and she was talking about winning a Gold Cup with him. So if,
Yeah,
if they think he's a Gold Cup horse, then there must be plenty more under the bonnet above 142. So I was actually a little bit surprised he didn't run in the Grade One
yeah,
because I thought they would maybe just put him into that company and try and find out how good he is. But that maybe suggests to me that they think 142, there's plenty to work with there. So I mean, if he runs in this, he's got to have a huge chance. I
yeah,
don't think he'll get the lead that he was allowed to get in the Ultima because they'll be wise to what he wants to do. You know,
yeah,
you've got pace angles like Doc Pickme in the race, Imperial Saint, who I also think would have a big chance. But I think if Myertown turns up in this, he's got to have a huge chance. The other one I mentioned was Imperial Saint for Philip Hobbs, who's three
yeah,
at three at Aintree. He's up £7 for his last win, but loves good ground. The quicker the better. So if they don't manage to get enough water into it, then it'll be perfect for him. Another prominent racer, which I like in handicap chases. So Myertown and Imperial Saint would be the two for me in that race.
yeah. I'm happy with that. We wait for the declarations. I'm pretty sure, Robert, that Home by the Lee is going to be declared for the Liverpool Hurdle, the Grade One race, which precedes the Grand National at 3:05. And he was so unfortunate to be brought down. Well, he wasn't brought down. He was cannoned into, and his jockey was unseated at Cheltenham before the race even got underway. And Home by the Lee, I really, really fancied him for the Stairs Hurdle, so I really, really fancy him to get some compensation in this Grade One at Liverpool on Saturday. I don't see any problem with the track whatsoever. I think before Cheltenham, he was in the best form he'd been in for 2 years in my book. I'm hoping that Joseph O'Brien has him back sweet, no problem at all, and he'll do for me. So Home by the Lee in the Grade One to get as a winner before the National. Home by the Lee, though, for me, Joseph O'Brien. I think that's 3 or 4 times I've mentioned him in this piece. So fingers crossed he is really going to have a good meeting.
Now onto the big one over the Grand National fences, 4 mile two. You put up Stumptown in the paper, Jim. Have you seen anything? Have you worked anything out that makes you deviate for that, or are you sticking with Stumptown?
Yeah, I'm very happy with Stumptown. I think what we should point out to everybody here is when you start with a 34 runner handicap like the Grand National, when it's such a high quality handicap now, you're basically starting from a position that you're 33 to 1 against back in the winner. So it's what you reckon is the value of the prices down below that. And I think even at 8 to 1, I have to confess I'm on at 12s and 14s. But even at 8 to 1, I think Stumptown is still good value. I think this horse has been transformed going round cross country tracks. I mean, the Banks track at Punchestown is it's not even remotely like the bowl which they run round at Cheltenham, but it's still a track which gets horses really interested. It makes them really concentrate, and I think Stumptown has excelled around Punchestown. He's excelled around those funny old fences in the centre at Cheltenham as well, and I think he'll excel around Aintree now. Things like falling at the first happen in this race, so goodness knows what might befall some of these runners. But I think Stumptown is very well equipped to win a Grand National. I think Keith Donoghue is one of the most superb horseman jockeys that we have in the business at the moment. He'll have no problem getting this horse round, and I think Stumptown is the one to beat. Now there are many horses which can win this Grand National. Let's not kid ourselves, but Stumptown is the one for me. That's my first choice. I'll come to 2 or 3 others in a moment. But what about yourself?
I like one of Cromwell's other ones, Vanillier, who
Yeah,
was in the same cross country race at Cheltenham and tried to take the wrong course and was out in front and ended up last. Come for miles back to finish third. Off 10 zone 6 looks a fantastic weight. I think he'll stay at it, no bother. I think Vanillier would have a right good chance. The other one, we spoke about him a while back for this race, was Beauport when we talked about him getting campaigned over hurdles. This has been the plan all season. Won the Midlands National last year. Now, the ground was kind of worrying me a bit because I thought he won't want faster ground, but he did win convincingly at Ascot on good ground in November.
yeah,
So I'm not too worried about the ground just on the back of that run. But Beauport, I think, would have a chance. Vanillier, I can totally see the Stumptown angle, and
yeah,
you can't argue with him being favourite.
yeah. And I mean, we both like three-card brag, but we're both slightly worried the ground might be too quick for that one. Although I think he'll plod on. I think he'll be in the top six, might even make the top four. The other one I like is one which, for a Nicky Henderson horse, I think has gone right under the radar, and that's Highland. I think this horse has got Grade 1 novice form this season. He's only off 10 stone 6. He looks a very athletic horse to me. I think he'll win the first four, and I really can't kick a Rocco out of the first four either, because I think that horse has been trained for the race. He's on the absolute spot on handicap mark that they wanted him to be on. He's got that form with Grey Dawning, which might be boosted on the Thursday. I think Rocco will be in the top four, but it's Stumptown for me.
So what's your 1, 2, 3 then, Jim?
I'm going to go Stumptown to win. I'm going to go Highland to finish second. I think he's still an each way price, so well worth getting on that each way. And a Rocco for third.
Well, I'll go Vanillier to win, Stumptown second, Beauport third.
Hopefully, we're not far away.
And then second last race of the entire meeting, the McGill Novices Chase. We've got Caliph de Burley trying to get back on track after getting beat at Sandown. We've got quite a few Arkle type horses in this one. For me, I looked at the race this morning. I actually think you probably need to see how the form of the
Yeah.
horses that were in the Arkle works out over the week. It looks very much of a muchness. Have you been able to pick anything out, or is it one that you'll maybe wait till Saturday morning now?
Yeah, I think I'm going to wait for one wait for the final declarations and then wait for Saturday morning. I'd be interested if Henry de Bromhead runs Special Cado. I think that would be well up to running a big race here. But we'll wait and see. And of course, we finish off with the Weatherby's bumper. It's a Grade 2 this one, not a Grade 1 like the one at Cheltenham. But there's a lot of winners in this. Again, it's a race, Robert, that I'm going to wait for the declarations. So I've said my piece.
I'm exactly the same. Thanks very much, folk. Good luck. Hopefully, you find the national winner.
Enjoy Aintree.